Thanks for staying with us. Tokwe Makodige just joined us after serious traffic. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I know everybody's just in traffic this morning.
Traffic was wonderful, but here we are.
Okay, let's start with the nation. We removed obstacles to growth, Tinubu tells investors. LP Obi's witness contradict each other at election tribunal. NLC cautions against electricity tariffs hike. Search for Titanic, 5 explorers died in catastrophic implosion. Lagos Blue Line rail to operate from August. Exchange rate determines air fare, says IATA. Removal of subsidy cuts tanker loading period by 5 days. And Naira weakens to 765 Naira to the dollar. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I took subsidy removal has reduced loading period by 5 days, says Ipman. So we have the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. The National Vice President, Abubakar Dankibiya, said that now it takes like 48 hours only to load at the depot, but it used to take 1 week when there was subsidy. He said that the end of the subsidy and bridging of petroleum products, the trucks have no reason to stop at the receiver depots for equalization recording. He says that the excesses in loading have reduced as there's no need for the product to come to the receiving depot. The dealer will just carry the product directly to his filling station as there's no petroleum equalization. There is no much delay compared to what happened before the subsidy. And that says a lot. I mean, that is good for, traffic as well as even the economy. You just never know how policies, how they, the multiply effect of a particular policy and how it affects everything. So this is good news
So the managing director for Lamata, Mrs. Abimbola Akinjo, has said that she's happy to inform us that they are rounding off the testing period. If you recall, they had launched the Blue Line earlier. The president had come back in January to launch the Blue Line, and they started test running from February up until now. So she said that they're wrapping up the test run, and she's saying categorically that it will begin commercial operations in August. Also, the Agbado to Igbo rail line is also nearing completion, and they intend to begin testing around that August also. The Blue Line was inaugurated earlier in the year, and we're pretty excited about that because that will ease traffic from those going to, I think it's from the Marina line. I think I'm trying to get the exact line it was. But I mean, I'm really happy that finally it's going to begin operations and people can now have better transportation from that mile 2, I believe, to Marina. Okay.
So the president, our president, President Bola Tinubu, was speaking in Paris, and he said that he was speaking at the 2-day new Global Financing Pact Summit, and he promised to embark on more reforms such as power, infrastructural development, agriculture, small and medium-scale areas. But the crux of it is that he said they've taken away the largest elephant in the room, which is the removal of subsidy and multiple exchange rates. He said that these are the key obstacles to growth, and he's telling investors he will do much more. He's urging investors across the world to take advantage of the trade and investment opportunities in Nigeria and assures them that the ongoing reforms will be sustained. He promised that not just the removal of fuel subsidy, but that with the with the fact that there's no multiple exchange rates, we will be getting more foreign direct investment into the country. And it's a strong message. I'm hoping that the international investors take advantage of the opportunities that Nigeria presents right now.
I had one more story in Nation about the capsule, the vessel, the submarine that was actually looking for the Titanic. Everybody was watching that story, monitoring that story. And sadly, the Coast Guard Rear Admiral John Morgan announced yesterday at the press conference that they believe the 5 passengers have completely disappeared and died through to catastrophic implosion. So they're saying that the vessel imploded. Really, really painful. It says they found debris of it about 1,600 feet from the site of the Titanic, finding consistency that with catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. So really, really, really sad story. Yeah. Adventurous, would have been a fantastic success if it was, but unfortunately it didn't come out as expected.
There was a 19-year-old boy among them.
He and his father. Really, really painful. Moving on now to the Punch very quickly. DMO worries over low revenue as Nigeria's debt nears 81 trillion naira. Paris Summit, subsidy removal, forex policy needed for survival, says Tinubu. Scholars should not be relegated for money bags, says LASU best student. Oshomole Adeleke, others bid farewell as Dr. C is buried. Ogun tops as NPC registers 49,000 deaths in 6 months. FG, state, local government share 786 billion naira May revenue. Labour discos on collision course over electricity tariff hike. And terrorists planning attacks on religious fund centers, DSS warns. Okay, which story are we starting with?
DSS, the Department of State Services, has raised alarm of planned attacks on worship and recreational centers before and during the Eid. The DSS is calling for vigilance before the Eid celebrations, more so that reports had indicated plans to attack worship and recreational centers. They said this is evident by the recovery of primed IEDs among the suspected terrorists. So they're asking operators and patrons of public places, including market malls, to be watchful and report any suspicious movements and persons to relevant security agencies. They are also saying they are going to continue partnering with sister agencies for necessary proactive drills to frustrate criminals and their activities. They also said recently they had, in one of the operations, they had where they raided a hideout of one Kabir Bala, who is a gang leader and well-known terrorist. He was killed in a gun duel, and among some of the things they found ammunition, they found IEDs, things they found fully loaded, with 3 fully loaded magazines, 6 locally fabricated weapons. So, phones and charms. They're just saying that they're working hard to make sure that we're safe, but these people are out there planning all sorts of evil. So we need to be vigilant. We need to be watchful.
So IATA is the International Air Transport Association yesterday said that they are not the ones that determine the cost of travel in Nigeria, that the cost of travel is determined by the US dollars. And as long as the Naira is, the change in Naira value, it would continue to affect airfares. He said the conversion used the official prevailing exchange rate by each country, and that is why the cost isn't stable. He said that the travel expenses has really skyrocketed. They gave example of some of the costs, but they're saying Nigerians shouldn't blame them. They should blame the fact that the Naira isn't strong enough.
All right, so congratulations to Amina Yusuf. She made the 5.0 cumulative grade point average at LASU Lagos State University. Best graduating student, a law. She's going to be our guest a bit later. It was important for us to mention that this was a 40-year record broken by this young lady, and we will congratulate her. I know Nima has been posting her picture back to back, and we're celebrating you also. So we'll be speaking with, I'm happy she's in the studio, but it was important for me to mention it in the papers because she has really done very well. And of course, I hear that she's been given a gift by the governor and all the state governments, and the governor's personal funds has also given her cumulative, I think, 10 million naira. So congratulations to Amina Yusuf. Well, we're so proud of you. So okay, NLC, another story?
Yes, NLC and discos are going to... There's a clash loading, and the clash is based on the fact that the discos are about to change tariffs. They said the NEC tariff adjustment is responsible for, the NERC is responsible for adjusting our tariffs, but the NLC president, Joe Ajero, is stating that the massive increase was explained away to over 100% increase in the PMS, detailing that the movements of people has gone higher, and so they have to reflect that same change. We already have a NEC policy that changes tariffs from every six months, so there's a new tariff that will take effect from the 1st of July 2023. And I'm wondering what I don't see what NLC can do to stop this, because they've tried it a few times. Every 6 months, there'll be a change in our tariff.
Well, so NLC is saying that there's no need or justification for the increase, given the prevailing economic situation. They said that the increase in the electricity tariff will be insensitive as far as they're callous and reflective of an organized indifference to the well-being of Nigeria, especially the poor. So we definitely know that this will it's going to be a tough one to implement.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Outrage over proposed 114% pay rise for Tinubu and others. Nnamdi Kanu, Ohaneze Masob, IPOB Blambas, Asari Dokubo. INEC deliberately deleted results from Beavers, forensic expert tells Tribunal. DSS alleges plan to attack worship centers during Salah. Bill Gates Foundation to commit $7 billion on interventions in 4 years. Dignitaries massive crowd bid Dark founder Dr. goodbye. NLC demands suspension of planned increase in electricity rates. And U.S. immigration lawyer testifies against Lagos deputy governor. Okay, which story are we starting with? Let me do Ohaneze Ndigbo has condemned the recent outburst of former Niger Delta militant Asari Dokubo, asking the federal government not to release IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. His vice chairman, Damian Ogene, in a statement said Dokubo's views were prompted by his personal and selfish interests, and he urged the federal government to heed the call by Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo and other stakeholders to immediately release Nnamdi Kanu. He said that the restoration and promotion of rule of law and respect for the fundamental human rights of individuals are key to stabilizing the polity and restoring people's confidence in governance.
So dignitaries and massive crowd gathered to bid the Dark Communications founder, High Chief Raymond Dokwesi. He was interred in his home in Agenebode, Esako, East Local Government area of Edo State. Family close associates were there. He died on the 29th of May at 71. He fell off a treadmill, machine while using it, and it's been a lot of people lauded his commitment to charity, his pioneering of the privatized media. The Most Reverend Gabriel Dunia, the Catholic Bishop of Auchi Diocese, was at the funeral, and he spoke about the humility that High Chief Raymond Dokwesi displayed, and also spoke about his contributions towards charity, that even that there's a popular saying that charity...
begins at home?
Yeah, no. The way he said it, charity covers a multitude of sins. I've never heard that quote before, but he said you cannot talk about media in the African continent and not mention High Chief Raymond Dokwesi, and it's a really sad loss. A lot of other political bigwigs were there, sent representatives to...
I also mourn with him because I told you guys that I got a message on May 4th. He sent me a message on some other conversations, and it was just painful to me. A few weeks after he was gone, I was really shocked to get that message. May his soul rest in peace. Yeah. Okay, any other stories, son? Let's move on quickly now to Vanguard. NLC TUC CSOs rise against hike in electricity tariff. Presidency denies approving salary increase for political office holders and judiciary. Made the Nigeria news safe for consumption, says NAFDAC. NGE President Governor Mutftang, Nigerian Press Council, congratulated Eze Anaba. RTA and Lagos Monarch trade words over transport dispute. Why we embarked on mass sack, says Ondo Varsity. Dollar video, Kano anti-graft agency boss vows to reopen the Ganduje's case. Nigerians have lost confidence in judiciary, says lawyers. Presidential poll, INEC wipe off results in Beavers, forensic expert tells courts. Okay. Which story are we starting with in the Vanguard?
The FIRS,
please,
to end multiple taxation, collect market traders VAT. So the executive chairman of FIRS said that it was crucial, that this new policy is crucial to revenue generation and also eliminating multiple taxation, especially in the informal sector. I'll just go straight to that. He says that so they're going to be collaborating with MATAN, and the FRS and GTB are also working on modalities of addressing this challenge. They're going to be providing, this policy will be that they're working on providing security in the local market. So they are aware that at the local markets, people are constantly paying one tax or the other, and it's unfair, and it has an effect on the economy and also on the businesses, the informal sector. So they're seeing how they can provide security for people there. They're also going to be giving them some a card, enumeration. They said the card contains the tax identification number and other personal details. So they will be able to pay their taxes, just once to the relevant agency and not to different touts and miscreants that come to them at different times to collect this money. And I think that is amazing that they are doing that. They understand how huge that sector is, the importance of that for that sector to thrive for our economy. So we need to find ways to protect them and stop this multiple taxation. So I think it's amazing that we're providing local solutions to our local problems.
So going by the fake news, we discussed it yesterday that Ramfak's proposition it went viral like wildfire. The Special Advisor on Special Duties and Communications, Mr. Dele Alaki, has spoken yesterday that, excuse me, and the government had never, and the president had never approved such, that Ramfak, yes, is within his constitutional duties to propose, but there's nothing concerning that proposition has come forward to the president, and nothing like that exists. That there's the fact that the fake news really went viral, that the president, the vice president, and other office holders are going to get 114% increase is fake news. And I think even the major headline, Daily Sun, said the same thing. So it's all about framing. We try to get the people to just go against government. When government is trying to fix something, media tries to redirect them to hate or to disagree just because you want, a certain agenda set. So we need to be very careful on how this is done. But Dele Alaki has come out to say categorically the president did not approve any type of increment for any office holder. And if it does happen, they'll be the first to know. Okay.
So the NAFDAC, National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control Director General, Professor Christiana Adeyeyi, has come to say that the noodles produced within Nigeria have the right safe amount of mycotoxin and heavy metals are within international acceptable rates and therefore safe for consumption. This, they said, was because they did a recall of the Malaysia and Taiwan Indomie instant noodle special chicken flavor, that because those contain high-level presence of ethyl oxide compound associated with increased risk of cancer, and that the samples that were taken confirmed it in those particular ones, but those chemicals are not in the Nigerian local noodles, and so the Nigerian local noodles are safe for consumption, and that they've done a robust investigation covering other instant noodle brands within Nigeria besides the Indomie brand, and all of them were
So we
found.
should not allow the importation of those noodles.
Exactly, since we have enough locally.
SON.
Okay.
Work on that.
The Nigerian Tribune, let's find a story of not taking polio immunization. Bill Gates commits $7 billion at meeting with Shettima and governors. PEPC, INEC deleted FCT presidential election results on Beavers, witness alleges. NLC kicks against electricity tariff hike. Oyo lawmakers worry over surge in kidnappings, killings to convene security summit. Appeal court reinstates ex-NIA DG Dauda. No approval for salary increase for political office holders, presidency says. 10th National Assembly, North Central, South lawmakers, 4 majority leader juicy committees. And missing Titanic submersible crew confirmed dead after catastrophic implosion.
Yes, I have Bill Gates, Aliko Dangote, and the governors with our vice president met and had a conversation concerning the foundation's support to immunization against polio in Africa. The American billionaire is committing $7 billion over a 4-year period to Africa, not just Nigeria, to the whole of Africa, for this cause. They said that first on Monday, he had met with the president as part of the program to learn from partners helping to address polio, anemia, and other health threats. Also, scientists applying research to develop agricultural innovations that will help with food security and climate adaptation, innovators using technology to improve access to financial services, and others working to improve lives in Niger and Nigeria and throughout the continent. They said that Bill Gates was also, and his team were also scheduled to meet with national and regional leaders. This is to encourage them to make investments and advance policy that will promote innovation and provide equitable opportunity despite challenges in economic situations. I also like the fact that they're also hoping to meet with students and young leaders so that they can gather insights and share perspective on how science and innovation can accelerate positive change and contribute to a brighter outlook for Africa. The Vice President also assured that the government will address concerns that surrounding financing of primary healthcare system in our country.
Because, you know, there are a lot of controversies whenever we're getting funds from these people, and the fact that when they give you something, there's always like a conversation around how do we have entrance to your economy. We might be giving something, and we should be sure that what we're giving is not going to cost us too much, considering what we're getting.
But I like the fact they said they're going to be talking to students and young leaders to gather insight. So sometimes when we make these policies, the young ones too are part of it. You'll be surprised the sort of information you can get from people like from the young ones.
All right, we have to wrap up. I think that's all we can take on front page review. When we return, move on to our topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.